But he's the first place I saw him.
I really hate the fact that I always try to leave it on 81 when I do put the heat on. It just disrespects my man Kobe for no reason. New iPhone lens. Pretty dope. Let's rock. Got the freshest barber in the game. What's up, YouTube? Boss Vlogs. Coming to you with another vlog on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. It's October 1st. You may say, okay, what does that mean? It's my birthday, man. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 36 laps around the sun. Thankful for them all. So many people didn't make it this far. And so today's vlog is going to be a little bit different. I say a little bit just simply because I'm still in the car. But I don't want to make it about the car today. I'm thankful for this car and I'm blessed for this car. But at the end of the day, it still is just a car. There's more important things in this world. That's kind of what I want to talk with you guys about today. Because, man, I'm blessed, man. And it's not to brag. It's not to, you know, boast or whatever you want to call it. It's simply just to be thankful, man, because this year in particular has been a weird year. And weird, I mean, I'm having so much success in a lot of things, but the mental health component about it has been the most challenging. You know, it's I will say one thing about this year that is at least a shocker to me, or just something that was totally unexpected, was I wasn't expecting the attack on my mental health to be so intense. And as you get older, as you become an adult, as you build families and have success in your career, friendships, whatever the case may be, the more opportunity, things that can deter you or knock you off your path, actually try to. And that's what I feel like has been happening. I feel like if you are not intentional about your mental health, if you are not intentional about what you're out here doing, you can find yourself in a world of trouble. You have to be careful. I had to change the filter real quick. This year has been, I feel like in my life, there's always adversity. Well, scratch that. In all of our lives, there's always adversity, period. We don't control how much adversity we face. We may have faced more adversity than the next person. We may have faced less adversity than the next person. We don't get to control that aspect. We don't get to control what happens as far as adversity rearing its head. You know, we are responsible for how we respond. And I'm learning that more and more than ever. And, if you look at my life from a particular lens, all seems well. And if you look at it from within, that's where you recognize the opportunity to just work on some things. And, there's so many different things that have attacked my mental health this year. You guys know, if you were looking at the videos from earlier this year, I almost lost my mom. That was a significant journey mentally, because my mom was in the hospital for over 100 and some days, man. In the ICU over 100 and some days. So not just in the hospital, but intensive care, man, where people typically don't live that long in the ICU. The longer you in there, all right, let's just cut Nate off today. People don't typically live the longer they're in the ICU. It's the opposite. It's the worst things can get. And my mom was in a situation where she was in there for over 110 days. Thankfully, she's alive. She's improving. Still has some complications, but mentally, it just took me on a journey, because I've never had to deal with that. I've never had to face that with anybody, any loved one. And so it was an attack on my mental health. And as a husband, as a father, there's still things that you have to do as even from a work perspective. I'm a financial advisor, so market's not doing well, clients not happy, right? You got clients that are happy with the way things are going, which is great, right? So you're getting all of these mixed emotions from so many angles, and if you're not careful and attentive to those things, it could take you on a roller coaster that you may not be ready to deal with mentally. And that's exactly what it was for me. And I'm thankful that I was able to really have some soul searching moments to recognize what was going on. And then at that point, it was like, okay, how do we bounce back from this? How do we move forward? Because once again, you can't control the hand that you're dealt. You can control how you respond. And that was the most important thing. Once I recognized what was happening, the hand that I was dealt, I could have just sat there and sulked and cried and pouted and bitched and moaned about everything that was going on, or I can we can fix it, or we can continue to cry about it. And for me, at the end of the day, I recognize my place in life for a lot of people. I'm not perfect. I'm not the greatest there was. But I have a lot of people that look up to me. And so it is important for me to, not always display this image of not letting adversity take me into a dark place, or not letting me see failure, or getting things moved into a negative manner. But, I recognize that there are people that look up to me. And so every move that I make, I feel like there's somebody watching. And so I want to be, as much as possible, on my best, not necessarily best behavior, but my best performance, so that when somebody that is watching me runs into the same things that I've run into, or something similar, they may have some nuggets to be able to go out and see how they may need to pursue it. Everybody's different at the end of the day. I get it. But, there's nothing wrong with having a point of reference. Like, oh, such and such ran into this situation, so this is how they approached it. Maybe I should consider doing that if these other things aren't working. That, to me, is something that I think is highly important. When I deal with stress, typically for me, my outlet has been to work. I love my clients. I love what I do. And so it's like, hey, meet with more people, close more business, be present for my clients during times of turmoil, times of happiness, times of stress, and I will, by default, become better. And I can tell you right now, that is not the approach. Because when you're stressed, when you're not your best self, your clients see it, your friends see it, your family see it, your mentors, all of the people that are in your circle, they see it. And they know when it's affecting you. And so I'm thankful that I was able to have what I like to say a come to Jesus moment, where I was able to just take a step back and assess what the heck was going on, And then that was the game plan. It was like, all right, how do we move things forward from here to be better and to do better? That's it. There was no need to cry about it or complain. You know, at that point, it was, how do we get better? How do we do things better? How do we, just improve at the end of the day? And that was something that I was happy that I was able to at least recognize. Now, let's not mistake it. I'm not 1,000,000% nowhere near where I want to be. Dang, his tire's shredded. That's crazy. I just dodged it. However, from a mental health perspective, I'm in a much better place. And I'm thankful that I've been able to recognize it at what I would still consider a young age, because so many individuals carry stress, frustrations, the weight of the world on their shoulders for so long, and they're gone before they get to address it. And at the age of now 36, I can confidently say, like, I have a plan for my mental health. Getting that massage, spending that money to get that massage, because it really does relieve stress. Taking time to unplug from work. It's okay not doing things. It is okay to take time off and not do anything. It is okay to not always be doing something, because we sometimes mistake motion for progress. Running in place doesn't get you nowhere. You can get an increased heart rate. You can work up a sweat. You can even burn some calories. But that doesn't mean you've made progress forward.
Live X band ahead.
And so, as I'm getting older, man, and as I'm, learning as a father, as a husband, as a family man, a man of God, as a leader, I'm learning what it really takes to make it out here, and what success looks like. And I'll tell you, true success is having a healthy mindset, man. Because you can have all the money in the world and not be healthy in the mind. Your mental health can be taking a toll on you. It's the reason why so many people, with money and success and wealth, sometimes are often lonely. Not everybody, but some. It's because they may think that, because I have this wealth, because I'm here in this place in life, because I can buy whatever I want, do whatever I want, like, I'm good. And that is the biggest mistake anybody can make. Same thing with status. You can get the highest role in your company, all the responsibility, all of the fame, all of the glory. Doesn't make you better than the next man. And I'm thankful that I'm at an age where I can recognize that. And, we're not perfect creatures by any means. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this video, because I recognize my place in this life. I recognize that professionally, being a financial advisor is where I'm supposed to be. It's what I love to do. I love the people that I work with. I love my clients. I love the art of investments and financial planning, retirement planning, goal planning. I love when I get to meet my clients' families and help them plan for generations. That brings me peace. On the other side, I like the YouTube experience, because I get to communicate and to talk about the things that I run into, the things that I struggle with, the things that I found success with, but also to share commonality with you guys who like the cars, who like to have a day in the life, the questions that you may want answered that you don't think you can find as easily, and sometimes you can't find as easily. I like being able to be versatile in my approach. I like being able to be consistent in my approach and locked into whatever I'm doing. And so I recognize that, hey, like, you don't get to where I'm at without getting some scratches, without getting some concerns, without getting some doubt in your mind. None of that happens this way. And that's the reality. I wish life was as easy as just saying, hey, you can get through with the most minimalistic or the most minimal amount of experience of negativity, of challenges. And the reality is, some of you guys watching this video, you've either already had it tougher than me and others, or you will. And I wish that wasn't the case. But the reality of it is, at the end of the day, is that's just how life is. And so once you recognize that, that doesn't mean walk around with your head down and sulk and complain. What it means is, hey, take this opportunity to say, hey, what can I focus on to go out and be the best version of myself today? Because that's literally what life is. Every day is a new day. It is a new test. Yesterday could have been the most worst day you've ever had. And that does not mean that today can't be better. I don't care what you've gone through. I'm not saying it would be easy. I'm not saying it would be a breeze, but don't take what happened yesterday or last week or last month or hell, a consistent week of bad things. Don't take that as, oh, this is how it's going to be. This is how my life is set up. I joke around about that, but the reality is, man, like, I'm in a place where I used to dream about, where I used to talk about. And there's places that I'm trying to go. And I remember the same feeling of being like, man, how am I going to make this happen? Right? I can tell you all day, I can write down my goals. I'm very visual. I have a vision board. I write down my goals. I'm very intentional about how I motivate myself for anything I want, whether it's a car, whether it's a place, a career advancement, a certain amount of money. Like, I'm very intentional about being motivated. I'll pull up to the Ferrari dealership to smell that leather of a Superfast, of an 812 Superfast, because I want an 812 Superfast. I need to know how that car smells, how it feels, the features that I may add, all of those things, right? That helps me really internalize what I'm out here trying to accomplish. Whether it's a home, whether it's a career advancement, I'm sitting with the people in the places that I want to be. I'm learning from them. I'm understanding what their challenges are, a day in the life. I'm also recognizing what am I doing? What things am I doing to get to that next step? So it's all about being intentional in your grind. But it's all about being intentional. And I'm very intentional about what I want to do. That does not necessarily mean that my goals accomplish much faster. I can tell you right now that there's still some challenges. There's still some hardships and things that you're going to have to go through. I don't care how motivated you are in this thing called life. And I'm very motivated. I'm a very motivated individual. I'm a self-starter. You don't have to motivate me. Some people you got to kind of give them a bone every time they do something good. You got to give them words of affirmation, things like that. I don't need that. I'm going to always motivate myself. I'm going to always pat myself on the back. And I'm always going to be humble about it. But I don't need, at the end of the day, somebody else to get me there. I'm just focused on being great. And for me, there's a certain standard of care that is necessary to be great in my eyes. Everybody else's grind looks different, and it's perfectly fine. So recognizing what's happened in my life over the last year and a half, let's call it, the mental health journey, we hear it all the time, but I would say it's a very real thing. Take it serious. If you feel, whether it's a spiritual, physical, mental attack on your spirit, on your mind, address it. Figure out what's the root cause of it so that you can get better and where you need to be as soon as possible. Because it's warfare out here. There's always, think about it, guys. Our minds are very powerful organs. Like our brain is a powerful organ. It is. I think it's more powerful than we give it credit for. That whole you can do anything you can put your mind to is a very real thing. Oh, there's a Bentley in front of me, an old flying spur. Looks like a 97. Woo. I know I said I wasn't gonna keep this about cars, but there's a nice Bentley here. Anyway, you want to make sure, guys, that you are really addressing what's happening. Because I don't care if I'm not gonna say I don't care. If you have a great day today and you move forward and you progress, awesome. Don't assume tomorrow's not gonna be a challenge. It will knock you on your ass if you're not careful. Don't take today for granted. Don't take the wins from today for granted. Don't take the losses from today for granted. Learn from them. That's how you improve day in and day out. I'm not where I want to be in life, in all areas, okay? But I'll tell you something. I'm where I wanted to be at some point in time. So I'm here. Sometimes we can be so caught up in the day-to-day life that we forget that sometimes we're standing where we used to once pray to be. You know? It's like seeing somebody with a bigger house or a bigger car, or somebody's got the senior level position that I want, or they're making the money that I want, or they're in a position that you want to be in and you're not, right? It's easy to look